Welcome once again, Acolytes, to explore the latest updates on the development of Catechesis during this Halloween season. Today, we're going to learn more about the game's mechanics and meet a new character. Stay until the end for some exciting news about Yuppie Psycho that you won't want to miss. Development. Since the last time, we've made significant progress. We've conducted a private beta test of the game's first 2 dungeons. Given that the 2 main additions to Catechesis are the combat system and character progression, we want to run many tests to deliver the best experience for both new and veteran players. A sign that the project's heading in a good direction is that the script is fully finished and locked, with only a few ideas left for alternate endings. It may seem like it was about time, but part of our working method involves finding the story during the creation process. Keep in mind that even though we had a script for the first game prototype 12 years ago, we've rewritten everything from scratch, and we're very satisfied with the result. That said, don't ask us to tell you more, because we hope you can experience this story for the first time by yourselves. Many surprises await you. In the past few weeks, we've been expanding and correcting maps, as well as adding the first cutscenes of the game, which, if you know our previous projects, represent a significant workload. We know that one of our strengths is the interactions between characters and the more narrative moments of the game. But it is also one of the most labor-intensive processes that involves paying attention to hundreds of details. Despite the good pace, there is still much work to be done. This is no small matter, as we have 44 distinct enemies so far, and the game's length far exceeds that of Yuppie Psycho. This is our most ambitious project to date, and therefore the largest and most complex. Our goal is for you to spend many more hours immersed in this particular universe. To whet your appetite, we're going to delve deeper into these new mechanics that are also new to us. Mechanics. If you've played our previous 2 games, The Count Lucanor and Yuppie Psycho, you'll remember that a distinguishing feature was their unique save systems. During the beta testing of The Count Lucanor, we found that an autosave system took away part of the tension, so our solution was to take note from other games that came before and implement a system of limited saves. In The Count Lucanor, you could find coins while exploring the castle, and if you wanted to save, you had to go to the courtyard fountain and offer your coin to a crow. Since the coins were limited, players hesitated before spending one, making the castle exploration much more dangerous and exciting. This save system was very well received by the most loyal players of the genre, so we decided to make it one of our signature features. In Yuppie Psycho, we decided to adopt the same system. Instead of coins, we used paper sheets, and instead of fountains, a photocopier, which fit perfectly with the game's theme. Additionally, we added a new feature. Some photocopiers were out of ink. This forced players to decide very carefully which of them to use their resources on. The success of Yuppie Psycho with a more diverse audience meant that many players didn't look favorably on the save system. We realized that we have 2 problems. On the one hand, modern players don't like not being able to save at any moment. On the other hand, after dying, players had to repeat all the narrative sequences, making them feel tedious and endless. That's why we've been reflecting a lot on this mechanic, and now offer a new alternative. Blood altars that Daniel will find throughout his adventure. An altar will be placed at the beginning of each dungeon. These altars remain inactive until Daniel interacts with them, turning them into respawn points. So, when he dies in combat, Daniel will continue from that point, keeping all the story progress without having to repeat narrative moments. Although enemies will have reappeared, and any uncollected experience will remain where he died until he retrieves it. Resting at an altar also regenerates health and refills bullets for his gun. With multiple altars activated, Daniel can also teleport between them, leaving the dungeon to carry on with his daily activities, perhaps gaining advantages that make combat easier. Does this system seem familiar to you? Exactly. It's the same one used in Souls games. The save is automatic, but when you die, you respawn at strategically placed checkpoints. The first altar Daniel will find is special. It's called the Hemoferitro. In Greek, the feritros was the instrument used to carry and transport the coffins of the dead. For ancient Egypt, tombs were more than just resting places for the dead. They were portals connecting the world of the living with the afterlife. The Greek prefix, hemo, means blood, and indicates that this altar operates with demon blood. The Hemoferitro is the central heart, and its veins reach different altars spread across the dungeons, called arterias. Daniel will be able to level up, rest, and teleport between them. But who left these stones here? When did they appear? What are the consequences of Daniel using them? And who is that strange shadow that appears every time Daniel levels up? Characters. Even though Daniel must take care of the church and fight the creatures that plague the dungeons, he also has to attend school. Mayman High School is one of the main settings of the game. Here, you'll encounter classmates, bullies, sports activities, and teachers, such as today's featured character, Miss Vivian. Vivian is the strict teacher of Daniel and Sophie, always vigilant in maintaining discipline, especially when it comes to Sophie, her most troublesome student. But her strictness has a positive side. Vivian assigns homework and studies that not only help improve your skills, but also offer a key bonus for facing the demons. So, even though she can be tough at times, listening to her can make all the difference in battle. Although Miss Vivian may seem very serious with everyone, she sometimes gets nervous around Mr. Walter, the gym teacher, who stands out for being extremely unathletic. Can such a strict teacher find love? Break free from the ties of modern life? Let her hair down and give in to passion? However, not everything is as it seems in this world, and Miss Vivian is no exception. What does the teacher do when she's not in class? You'll soon discover Miss Vivian's best-kept secrets. But how will she react? Enemies. Now it's time to introduce you to another threat Daniel will face. This dancing character is Masiki. He's a good example of the new challenges this project presents to us. While there were enemies in the Count Lucanor or Yuppie Psycho, all of them relied on being very simple, since the player could only evade them. Catechesis requires them to have more complex behaviors and to react during combat with the player. Masiki is a slippery enemy who always tries to keep his distance from the player. His main attack is summoning spikes from the ground at a distance, forcing Daniel to stay in constant motion to dodge them. Additionally, when you try to shoot him, Masiki is agile enough to dodge the bullets. And be careful, because even though it might seem like he's been defeated when he deflates like a balloon on the ground, he's only pretending. If you don't finish him off while he's unconscious, he'll get back up to continue the fight. Our first prototype of Masiki dodged some of Daniel's bullets, which forced the player to use melee weapons. On paper, the enemy design worked perfectly. In the initial tests we conducted in isolation, everything pointed to it being a great challenge and seemed to be on the right track. However, this is a clear example of why testing is crucial. When we conducted the first beta test outside of the team, we realized the problem. This enemy appeared right after players obtained the pistol. Its bullet dodging mechanic, though interesting, had an unexpected effect. It discouraged players from using the pistol, which was exactly the opposite of what we wanted at this point of the game. So we had no choice but to remove that mechanic to avoid disrupting the flow. These kinds of surprises will appear with many other enemies we are currently testing and balancing. Every encounter with a new enemy will involve a learning process until we figure out how to defeat them. Latest news. Since the last time we reached out, we've released a second edition of the Brian Pasternak plush for Makeship, which was successfully funded. We want to thank you for your constant support. This time we have a completely new item. Let me show you. It's true. 2 new pins of Brian Pasternak and Mr. Devil will be available on Makeship starting today. Don't miss the opportunity because, as always, it will be an exclusive and limited edition. Reserve yours as soon as possible. And that's all for now. Don't hesitate to join our Discord if you want to know the project's status and see some of the images and characters we're working on before anyone else. Also, you can now find us not only on Twitter and YouTube, but also on Instagram and TikTok. Check all the links in the description. And of course, we need all your help by wishlisting Catechesis on Steam so this project can reach more people. I know you'll do it, as good acolytes. Until the next announcement, keep us in your prayers and spread the word. Amen to Ball.